A couple of days ago, I put a quote on Facebook, which I do quite regularly, and I did it on Instagram also. And the quote was, well, it was a picture. It was a picture of a man and woman sitting, like in their living room, facing each other, having a discussion. And it looked like a serious discussion. And the quote that I put down there was, I don't know who it originated with. It's been around for a long time. But the quote was, "A clever man tells a woman he understands her. A foolish man tries to prove it." And I wanted to make my remarks on this because it's a lot to think about. A clever man tells a woman he understands her. I would agree with that. I would agree that it's sometimes a smart move to make. You might, you guys know that there can be a lot of drama. There can be a lot of serious things that they want to talk about, things that perhaps they're going through. Maybe you're the problem. And so, it comes across as though they want to tell you something. They want to discuss this issue. And they just want you to understand. They sound like they sincerely mean it. And I have found out that this saying is true, because I don't think that they really want you to understand them. And the reason why I say this is that, first of all, I don't believe they understand themselves. If you listen to them talk long enough, you'll hear them say, "I don't even understand what's going on with me. I don't even know. I don't know why." What they do understand is what they feel. I will say that much. They understand what they feel. And if you were to go to another woman to try to consult, to find out if what you said or how you responded or was right or wrong, or if you want to kind of shed some light on what's going on, maybe you might get it from a different point of view, a different angle, and you might need another woman to interpret it. She'll oftentimes say, "Yeah, I understand what she's talking about. I understand what she's saying." And I really do believe, and I could be wrong about this, because it's such an enigma, but I do believe that what they really mean is, "I understand how she feels." And the reason why I say that is because like I said before, the very woman that you're dealing with oftentimes doesn't even understand herself. So how could somebody else? I think what they understand is what they feel. And so when you try to tell them, "I understand," they're saying, "But I think this is my interpretation." You can argue with me all you want. You can tell me I'm wrong. But I think what they're trying to say is, "You don't know how I feel." And in essence, they're right. You don't. You don't know how they feel. But you're trying to relate. You're trying to be kind and considerate. And oftentimes as men, it feels like you're getting shot down. It feels like you're getting shot down when you're trying to convey that you understand. And the second part of that quote was, a foolish man tries to prove it. A clever man says he understands a woman, but a foolish man tries to prove it. Or he tells a woman a clever man tells a woman he understands. A foolish man tries to prove it. Yeah, it's one thing to tell a woman you understand her. It's another thing to go to lengths to continue a conversation and say, "This is why I understand something like this happened to me. I know what this feels like, blah, blah, blah." And then try to apply some kind of balm, some kind of salve to the situation. And this is a foolish move to make. And I've done it countless numbers of times. And the evidence that this isn't working is when a woman tells you, "I just want you to listen to me. I don't want you to try to fix my problem," which really puts us in a quandary, because that's what we do. We as guys do. If I'm going to if I as a man, I'm going to come to you as another man and discuss an issue with you, or discuss a problem with you, I'm looking for a resolution. I'm looking for an answer to the problem. We fix things. And it's just common knowledge. That's what we do, because we don't like things looming. We don't like things staying unresolved. What good is it to feel terrible all the time? I mean, I think that's what that's the impression I get a lot of times is from a woman when you're trying to have these discussions with her is let me feel how I want to feel, but you feel terrible, but you feel awful. Why would you want to keep feeling this way? Because it always appears to me that the situation does not fix itself, and that it ever changes. Right? You know what I'm talking about. It never changes. And this continues to repeat itself time and time again. And you keep going, you keep stubbing your toe in the same place every time, and you don't make a move to fix it. I don't understand. You keep coming to me about it. It's frustrating to us men. What's the solution to this problem for us? Man, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one, because here's the reason why it's so hard. I think that women like to keep us men on our toes. And as soon as you think you've got the game figured out, they're going to change the rules. Have you ever tried to play a real game? I mean, any kind of game, a board game, a card game with a woman? Have you ever noticed that they're constantly trying to change the rules? I mean, every woman I've ever tried to play games with does this. They want to modify and alterate the rules and the dynamics of the game so that it kind of weighs in their favor. And but that can't be something that's applied to you. And it's just I'm saying all this. I'm not hating on women, okay? I'm not hating on women, but I it's just kind of a peculiar observation. So I don't know that there's a cut and dry solution to this problem. What I do want to stress is that you as a man cannot spend all of your time and all of your life trying to fix a woman's problem or her issues, let alone anybody else's. If someone is open to you listening to them and then offering a solution or whatnot, that's fine. Most men are going to be open to that. Most women are not going to be open to that, unless they come right out and say it. And that does happen sometimes. But for the most part, learn your lesson. If she tells you you don't know how she feels and you don't understand, she's probably right. She's probably absolutely right. At that point, all you can do is say, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you're going through this. That's it. I mean, or something like that. But don't proceed down this path of trying to prove to her by giving her some kind of illustration from your life that's going to exemplify something similar to what she's going through, because it's not going to work. She's going to change the dynamics of everything and of everything that's just been said and prove to you how you don't understand what's going on with her. And it's just going to frustrate you more. Now, let me go a step further. Have you ever been with a woman who's cheated on you and you find out she's with another man and you try to discuss this with her and she says, or maybe she just comes right out and says, well, he understands me. He understands me. And you're thinking to yourself, what a player. What a player. He doesn't know her like I know her. Trust me, brother, he knows that. He knows that. You're right. He is just a player. He's trying to convey to her that he understands. And let me tell you something. You might be thinking to yourself when you go through something like this, it might have occurred in your life. And so you know what I'm talking about, but you think to yourself, I've tried to understand you. You're telling me you just had this discussion with him and he conveyed to you that he understood and you just embraced it. And he listened very carefully. She is no more convinced that he understands her than he is. It's just an excuse. And you might say to yourself, well, you know, maybe he really does understand her. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't understand her. It's just an excuse. It's just a way for her to make herself feel better about doing what she's doing. And by no stretch of the imagination is she trying to make you feel better by saying, It's not a physical thing, it's an emotional thing. See, he understands me. So it's not about the sex, it's not about the hookup, it's not about that. It's about fulfilling my own emotional need. And you might think for a second that she's just trying to let you down a little bit easier by taking the physical equation out of it. No, she's not. She doesn't care about you enough to put that much thought into it. All right? She's just trying to make herself feel better. Both people are lying to themselves. Her and the person she's hooking up with. They're lying to themselves. And don't worry. I mean, have no fears. I mean, that kind of thing never lasts anyway, no matter what. I mean, it just doesn't. I don't even want to go into it that much. I just want to discuss this issue about understanding a woman. You're not going to. And I know there's a lot of videos out there by PUAs that try to explain that this is what a woman means when she says this, and this is what you need to do. And they're very formulaic. And I think that a lot of it's just a bunch of BS. I really do. And I'm not making this video out of bitterness. Absolutely not. I just as a guy who's growing older and has a lot of years behind me, I'm just trying to give you practical wisdom on this topic, because so many of you, and including me sometimes, is going to continue to try to prove to a woman that you understand her when you really don't. And you're coming from a place of kindness. You're coming from a place of compassion, even when you try to fix her problem and it's not working and you're getting frustrated. And if you keep doing that, you're going to become bitter and resentful, and it's going to continue to create more friction. And if a woman ever messes around on you and tells you it's because he understands her, just slough it off, because it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything at all. Consider yourself as having dodged a bullet. Be happy that it's done. And and not all women are like this. Not all women are like this. So if you're a woman watching this, trust me, I appreciate women. I love women. I think they're extremely interesting. And I mean, no matter what kind of, let me tell you, if a woman's listening to this, let me help you understand something from our point of view. No matter how many problems we say we have with women, we're still always trying to get their attention. We still are somewhat addicted to them in some way, some form or another. So I do love women. So this is not coming from a place of bitterness and resentment. I'm just trying to convey to you guys that it's not wise to try to prove to a woman that you understand her. You got that? Just make sure you let her know that you're sorry that she feels the way she does, and you're sorry that she's going through what she's going through, and give her a hug, give her a kiss, But don't put it into words. Don't put these things into words, and don't offer your own illustrations, and don't offer a solution. I know, and some of you may hate to hear that. I've hated to hear it over the years from my own father and from other men much older than me. But they're right. They're absolutely right. And it would behoove you to embrace this advice. And anyway, and if any woman in my life watches this video and you think I'm talking about you, I'm not, but I am. Because this really applies to all women and to all men who are willing to hear it and embrace it for themselves. So I hope this has helped, and I hope that you put your comments below and tell your own story. And if you haven't liked this video, do so, subscribe, and share it with others. Guys, I appreciate your time, but I've got to get to work. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.